What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome to another video on Bradley TV.
Hey y'all.
Got Mr. Bradley and Mrs. Bradley here. We got another video we're excited to get to you guys. Before we get into the video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button on this video. Don't forget to also hit that subscribe button.
Right there, down below, left, y'all see it, big red button.
And also don't forget to share this video so somebody else can share this video, somebody else can share this video. So yeah, let's get into the video. So the idea that triggered this video is me and Mrs. Bradley are actually hosting a Let's Talk About It night here coming up soon with some of our married and in relationship friends that we have. So it got us to thinking about what can we talk about that night. So the other day I was reading this article and it was about 5 common marriage issues that come up within a marriage. So I wanted to basically, she doesn't know, she hasn't seen any of these topics. I read the article, kind of glanced over it. So she's gonna be giving a real raw reaction and we're gonna talk about it. So the first issue, this is coming from a, let me see. This is coming from a relationship counselor, basically a marriage counselor. She wrote this article on 5 common issues, like I said, 5 common issues that come up within a marriage. So number 1 is boundary problems.
Boundaries as far as what?
I'm gonna read. So basically, I'm gonna read an excerpt of that topic that she talks about, and then we're gonna talk about it. Okay. Boundary problems. I think the biggest issue in marriage is boundary problems. Spouses so often try to change the other in the name of helpfulness. The truth is, the only person you can change in a marriage is yourself. You marry the person the way they are. If they're a slob now, they probably were a slob when you met them. They've probably been a slob since childhood. The best thing you can do is change your response.
I think that's very true. Something my mother always told me was to start a relationship how you want to finish. So if you're not a cook and you cooking for this man every night, that's what he gonna expect you to do. He gonna expect you to cook for him every single night, and you can't in the middle of a relationship be like, I mean you can, but it's probably gonna cause problems. But you can't in the middle of a relationship just be like, oh, I don't really cook all the time after you've been cooking every day.
Cook for me when
not every day.
When I used to come to them trips to Bowling Green,
and it was a special occasion.
There was some tacos waiting. I got me some chicken the next night.
It was a special occasion. He knew I couldn't cook, so that is, you know.
I didn't know you couldn't cook. But yeah, I completely agree with this. I feel like if you meet somebody, you should. That goes back to the whole parallel. You shouldn't try to change somebody. People are who they are. The best thing that they can do is make small adjustments. I don't think you can completely change. Maybe you can try to adjust. I still struggle with certain things that I'm like, I have to make a conscious effort. Like, okay, she asked for this, so let me at least try to do this. But also with the understanding that that's not who I am, and I make it known that's not who I am.
So I feel like if you love that person, you have to kind of understand, one, that this person is putting forth effort. So you have to see that, recognize that, and understand that even if it's not exactly the way you want it to be done, if it's not their forte, I guess, or not the way they would usually do something, you have to understand and accept the effort that they're trying to give if they're really trying to put forth an effort.
Number 2, talking versus communicating. One of the biggest issues in a marriage is to believe that the act of talking to our partner is communicating, but we fall into common errors. A complaint is not communicating. One criticism is not communicating. Emotional blackmail is not communicating. To show ourselves as a victim of the conduct of our partner is not communicating. Poor communications can lead to marital problems during midlife crisis.
That's good. I think that's something that we still actively work on, and still have to actively work on understanding sometimes how to deliver messages.
I would say we have grown a lot. I don't feel like
we've definitely grown at it.
I feel like we used to really yell at each other a lot in the beginning. We actually talked about the fact that you don't talk to me, you talk at me. That was we had probably a year of that conversation. You don't talk to me, you talk at me. To the point where I feel like now I think we have kind of finally got to the point of that we communicate with each other. It's still not perfect, but I feel like I can express something to her and she hears me. The message may not always be taken the way that I want it to be taken, but I feel like she hears me. I hope that she feels the same way when she expresses something to me, that I take it, I hear it, I try to put it into fruition and make it active. I still think, like she said, I still think it's a learning point that we are still working towards improving. So learning how to communicate with each other is going to always be something that you are continuing to get better at.
I think that's true too, and I also think people change and people grow. So the way I receive a message now at this age may not be the way I'll receive the same message in 10 years. It wasn't the way I received it 10 years ago. Okay, so I can say 10 years ago with you. So people change and things change, and I think it's just about also knowing your partner and tailoring your messages to your partner in that moment, because the way I receive your message right now may not be the way I receive it in 10 minutes. Okay, things just change. I don't know, I'm a little crazy like that, and I think it's, don't be shaking your head.
I'm agreeing with what you're saying.
But it's true. So knowing your partner and knowing what makes them tick, and just the way they're feeling at that time, like being able to communicate your feelings to your partner, I think will help you in how you tailor your messages and when is a good time to even give that message. Yeah.
Number 3 is, she talks about time management. A consistent issue that arises in my coaching clients is time management. Couples are feeling so busy and stressed by feeling pulled in multiple directions that the quality of marriage is declining. I would agree with that. Very much so. We have talked about this several times. It's come up within our marriage. When we met, I was on summer break from college, and I had 2 jobs at that time. And then when I went back to school, I was in school and I lived 2 hours away. When I came home from school, I started school again. I also had a full-time job. Like, I was entering the workforce right out of college, and I had a full-time job, and I was also starting a master's program. And his thing was, he never felt like he fully got all of my time because I moved from one thing to the next. I feel like you've always been busy, which is part of the reason why I love you, but I feel like with time, I feel like when you take on a lot, you need to make sure that you take timeouts throughout your relationship to make sure that person knows that they are the number there, regardless of what you have going on in your life. You need to make sure that your partner understands that they are the number 1 commitment in your marriage, in your life. Regardless of kids, work, school, you need to always bring back that focus so that your partner understands that, you know what, I know I got a lot going on. Work is busy. I'm working out. The kids are keeping me busy, but there always should be, I feel like every few months, at least every couple months, it should be like a refocus, or something, even if it's small gestures or something that makes your partner understand and feel like you are still number 1 in their life.
I agree with that, which is why we try to do date night as often as we can. We try to go on vacations as often as we can, and obviously you don't have to go on a vacation to refocus your marriage. You can do that right at home. If you have kids, get somebody to take your kids for the night and just spend a quiet night together, like quality time together. And I mean, it could be totally free. So you don't have to go on vacation. You don't have to get away in order to refocus yourselves and recenter yourselves and focus on each other.
Number 4 is intimacy. More than money, kids, or any other marital woe, the most common issue married couples bring to my office is the struggle with sexual intimacy. Whether the problem is the lack of interest or opportunity, modern couples, especially those with children, often face an uphill battle to keep their sexual connection alive. And when it falters, spouses really do suffer.
I think that's definitely the truth. I totally agree with everything that's said. I guess it kind of goes with the last question or what we were just talking about, which is just basically making time for each other and making sure that you're making time for each other. And that includes intimacy, and intimacy doesn't always have to be sex. Obviously sex is a huge part of that, especially when you're in a marriage, but intimacy does not always have to be sex. So finding ways to connect with your partner, which hopefully will lead to better sex in the end, I think is extremely important. When you've been with somebody for a very long time, it's easy, very easy to let that stuff fall by the wayside. When you have children, when you have a million things going on, like YouTube is literally my second job. Between the two channels, like I work full time in a pretty strenuous job. I work a lot of hours every week, and I try to work out so I can keep myself in shape. I also do YouTube, and YouTube is very strenuous. I spend a lot of time every week on YouTube between filming and editing and responding to comments and doing thumbnails and all of that stuff. It takes a lot out of you, and at the end of the night, sometimes the last thing you want to do is have sex, but I think you have to make sure that that is a priority in your relationship. You have to make sure that that's a priority in your marriage, or I agree, it will suffer.
Kind of to piggyback a little bit off of her, I feel like intimacy doesn't have to just lie in the bedroom. I feel like there is a lot that goes into intimacy. I feel like you can be intimate by sending a morning text, something really sweet in the morning. I feel like intimacy is a ongoing, kind of like communication. I feel like intimacy is an ongoing thing. It never stops. It from the morning to the afternoon to the evening till when you guys if whatever you're doing in your bedroom. But I feel like sweet text messages, calling to check in just to make sure, see how their day is going, letting the person know that you're thinking about them. I feel like a lot of couples don't do the small things. I can't speak for all couples, but I feel like a lot of couples don't do the small things, which lead to a lot of what you want to call not being on the same page when it comes to intimacy. And that's when you start thinking about things, and it's just a whole slippery slope. I feel like you should always continue to keep falling in love with your partner. Number 5, money. We know marriages that have survived infidelity several times over, but money is a huge issue, with the word huge in capital letters, all 4 letters. We have chapters that state discuss money or will discuss you. This is true. When spending habits are not the same, nor they are saving habits, bills won't get paid. And it causes disagreements that can turn into loud arguments. And those fights get deep and never get over. Money is the biggest cause for divorce.
So you guys know we do lots of videos on budgeting and money and things like that. I think we are pretty much on the same page when it comes to our finances, but that was not easy, okay? That was not something that just happened when we got married. There have been a lot of fights, arguments, disagreements, everything about money. And that's a true statement. Money will break you up very, very quickly. Now, how you decide to, I guess, split up your money or spend your money in your relationship is definitely one that you need to discuss amongst your relationship. Like, what we do probably won't work for you. Maybe it does, I don't know. But what we do may not work for you. What you do may not work for us. So every couple, I feel like, has to really sit down and have that talk about how you want to spend your money, how you want to split up your bills, how you want to save your money, how much you want to save. Those are crucial conversations that you have to have, or else like everything will crumble.
I feel like all these topics come back to the number one thing that she talked about at the beginning: basically understanding your partner and coming to a common grounds. Basically, we both like to spend money, her a little more than me, but we both are on the same page when it comes to how we spend our money, how we save our money, and how our bills are to be paid. So obviously I feel like no matter how much money you have, be it a millionaire or somebody making $20,000 a year, if you don't have a conversation on how you want to spend your money or how your money is to be allotted, then there's going to always be issues within your marriage or your relationship. I feel like I know couples and friends who make a lot of money, and they spend a lot of money. And I know friends and couples who don't make as much money and have no issues at all. And I feel like money will will completely kill a marriage.
So I can say, when it comes to us, when we were having issues and arguments and things when it came to finances, we had not had those conversations. We hadn't sat down and had crucial conversations about what creditors I owed, or what creditors he owed, or how we wanted our money to be saved, or even a real in-depth conversation about our future goals. I mean, we talked about our future goals. We were married, so we had those conversations about what we wanted in the future, but we never laid out a plan about how we wanted to get there and how we thought we wanted to do that. So once we really sat down and understood that we needed to talk and have that crucial conversation of how we want to get to where we want to go in the future, everything just kind of fell into place when it comes to finances. So we have conversations about our finances all the time. At any given time, we both are aware of what's going on in our bank account.
That's gonna wrap this video up, guys. Hopefully we weren't too long-winded with you guys. We hit on some pretty heavy things here. Let us know how you feel about these topics that we discussed right down here in the description box. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel here. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media, Life of the Bradleys on Instagram.
If you want us to go in depth on any of these topics, or you have any other relationship questions or anything like that, make sure you let us know down below. Our email address is also down there, so if you want it to be anonymous and you want to email us, you can do that as well. And I think that's gonna be it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. We love you, and we'll talk to you in the next one.
Peace.